You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. All right, we have got a lot to cover on the program today. You know, President Trump, this judge that he's up in front of, is a crooked judge just by the fact that he has not recused himself. Now, you've heard President Trump talk about the daughter's problems, the daughter of the judge, which I'm going to go over later in the segment here. But first, something new and major came out about this judge. This judge, if he doesn't recuse himself, should be removed from this case. This is the judge who was judging President Trump, who never should have been arrested, which we'll talk more about that too. This is in the Gateway Pundit that I'm reading, which is a great conservative news site, thegatewaypundit.com. Leftist Judge Juan Manuel Mercan, who oversees President Trump's sham case on junk felony charges. This is the Gateway. I love how they write. The judge made political contributions to a nonprofit fundraising platform for Democrat candidates and progressive groups. According to FEC data, Judge Juan Mercan donated to Act Blue, earmarked for Stop the Republicans and Biden for President. Democrat fundraiser Act Blue is the payment processor for the majority of Democrats' political contributions in the 2020 campaign cycle, DC Patriot reported. Although the dollar amounts were what some would be considered small, this proves impartiality towards Donald Trump. Donating to both the former and future expected counterpart on the presidential ballot is a huge deal.
I would think so.
And something that cannot go unnoticed, the outlet reported. And, you know, these are small donations, but it doesn't matter.
No.
You know, by the way, this is the judge that oversaw that Trump Organization CFO case. That case should be tossed out, too, because this guy, he's just, you know, this is the thing you've got to understand about Republicans and Democrats and how they view one another, okay? Democrats believe that Republicans are Nazis and white supremacists, and they must do everything they can do to stop them because they are Klansmen, white supremacist Nazis. And when that is who is judging you, and they're an activist like that, that's just not right.
How did he get this new case of Trump? How did that come about? I mean, how does he get two cases?
How does Trump even get arrested?
Involving Trump, right? You know
exactly.
what I mean? I mean, who assigns the judges?
Obviously, there's been some judge shopping going on.
Obviously. I mean, I know they assign judges to certain cases. I'm not sure how it works in New York or really, you know, how it works here. I thought it was just on a rotating basis, like, you know, whoever's available. But I think it's a weird coincidence. This guy has handled two cases now in a row, back to back, pretty much within a year of Trump. I just think that's very strange and suspicious.
So he is a activist judge, a Democrat activist judge. He is not fair or anything. This is just wrong. So his daughter, now President Trump on a couple of occasions has referenced the daughter and even posted the Truth Social information about the daughter, and this is very relevant. I mean, the
liberals have had a meltdown over this.
Well, he's
going after the daughter. Well, and he's pathetic. You know, same stuff.
Well, they're going after him, and they're pathetic.
Exactly.
The judge Juan Manuel Mercan, Trump posted in a social media rant ahead of his arraignment on Tuesday, claiming the judge is from a family of well-known Trump haters. This article is from the Daily Mail.
Oh my gosh.
Lauren Mercan, the 34-year-old daughter of the Manhattan judge, is partner and president of Authentic Campaigns, a progressive digital marketing firm. She's worked on several high-profile Democrat campaigns, including Joe Biden for president. She's also worked for Kamala Harris, not just Joe Biden. She worked for Kamala Harris and then the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris campaign. She works for Gavin Newsom, and she's a partner in this digital marketing firm, okay? She runs it, and she's also a partner. So this is a multi-million-dollar company that she's a partner in. And here's the deal. If the judge makes a ruling that they don't like, she'll lose these jobs. It's millions of dollars. So the judge is corrupt. He's biased. He's not a fair judge. And then this is just outrageous. There should be nonstop thank the Lord that Donald Trump made this public.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's doing it, because you're not going to hear this is why they don't like him, because he shines a light on things that they want to keep in the dark. And they don't want you to see this or to know this information at all, because, it exposes exactly he's being railroaded.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on here. But there was a guy on Fox. They've had so many attorneys on the news, and I'm going back between Newsmax and Fox, and none of them have said this was a good thing. Even on CNN, they've been showing clips from CNN how they're even saying it's weak. Mm-hmm. But they had one lawyer on there, I can't remember his name, and he said that this will be litigated for years. It could go all the way to Supreme Court. Yeah. He said what'll happen is Trump they'll challenge everything. He said it could be litigated for years and years before it even sees a jury. And I think that's, Trump's not going to just cave in and say, okay, he's going to fight everything.
The judge set some court dates that Trump is commanded to appear in that take place during the Republican primary election period.
Yeah, so what can they do if the judge is clearly biased and his daughter, and they know this, and Alvin Bragg and the fix is in? What can Trump's lawyers do to remedy this? You'd have to go to a higher court, because clearly this guy's not going to give him a fair. And I don't trust the jury. I know they're going to do jury selection and all that, but Manhattan voted 90% liberal, 90%. It just seems, he can't get a fair trial there, obviously.
What a lot of things
he's done so much for that city. This is what's a shame.
A lot of things should happen, and none of them are happening.
I know.
Okay. The only Republican elected officials that I've seen do anything are Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. Kevin McCarthy's tweeted and said a couple things, but I need some action. And what I would like to see is all of the Republicans hold a major press conference with every Republican elected official in America that we can gather in Washington and speak out against this. That would be one thing. I'd like pressure to be put. This part will never happen, but it should happen, and this is really disgusting. President Bush should be out there defending Donald Trump. President Bush is the only other Republican president that we have now, and I know they hate him and all this business, and I know he's a scummy war criminal liar. He lied about weapons of mass destruction and everything. I get that, and his brother was supposed to get the nomination in 2016, and he didn't, blah, blah, blah. What happened this week is the biggest attack on the American system of government that we have seen. The only things that come close are the War of 1812 when we lost Washington, D.C. fell to the British, and the Civil War came close. But this is worse than the Civil War in some ways, and I'll tell you why I say that, guys. In the Civil War, I know there's all these Civil War documentary, what if the South would have won, and then, and all this stuff. The South wasn't trying to take over the North. They wanted to have their own country, okay?
They wanted to secede.
They wanted to have their own country.
From the Union, yeah.
There was never any thought or discussion
of
overtaking the United States by the Confederate States. It was and I'm not defending the Confederacy. That's the Democrat insurrection. They were terrible people, like they are now Democrats. But the United States system of government wasn't under threat because they wanted to have two separate countries. Now our system of government is under threat. Donald Trump isn't just a president; he's the nominee in 2024 in the next election. The judge's daughter. There are three people that are likely to be the candidate against Trump in 2024. Right, Biden. Right? Kamala Harris, and then the third one's Gavin Newsom. All three of the leading contenders in the Democrat Party for 2024, the judge's daughter makes a lot of money working for them. This is outrageous. This case should be thrown out, and there should be apologies made. What happened in New York yesterday? Eric Trump made this public. I didn't realize the city of New York spent $200 million just on the police. Yeah. Now this is the defund the police people, right? The mayor and the district attorney. They had every cop in uniform. That means even like plainclothes detectives were out on uniform for a presence yesterday in New York.
How can that cost $200 million? It seems like something fishy is going on there. That's why they're bringing him back in December for no reason, so they can do the same thing all over again.
Security at every level throughout the city. This is like
that's an excuse,
and everything else that goes along with it.
Yeah,
but it's a huge inconvenience for the city. It's a huge expense. It's awful. And
they made it out to be more than it was. I mean, there were a lot of people there in front of the courthouse in Trump Tower, but they overplayed it, over dramatized it, and this whole thing, and but they think that like you said, like we're horrible Nazis, and that we're dangerous. And that's how they view us. Meanwhile, they're operating on children and cutting off their boobs.
This is a big problem because, like, say Donald Trump, when he becomes president in 2024, which I think he's a lock now.
He's ahead of Biden big time now in Reuters.
Even if the Uniparty keep him off the primary ballots, everyone's going to write him in. Okay,
absolutely.
He might be the first write-in candidate president ever. So, the thing with this and what makes it so bad, if this goes to trial, Trump's going to be convicted. You got a crooked Democrat judge.
Yeah, that's
true. You got a crooked prosecutor, and you got a bunch of leftist crooked New Yorkers, okay? And if Trump becomes president, he cannot pardon himself. Presidents can only pardon federal crimes, not local and state crimes. New York is going to be Democrat till doomsday. No Democrat governor of New York is going to pardon Donald Trump ever. So even if they know it's wrong, okay? So if this goes to trial in New York, Donald Trump is going to be convicted, and he's going to get the maximum sentence that this crooked judge could throw at him.
Absolutely.
I got news. And I'm listening to people debate the merits of the case and the law like that. These people don't care about the law.
Yeah. If they cared about the law, he wouldn't be arrested in the first place.
They're lawless up there in New York.
Because you're also supposed to be protected by the law. And if they cared about the law, none of this would be happening because there's a statute of limitations, and they're ignoring that, and they're trying to circumvent that. If they cared about the law, that law would be protecting Donald Trump. Yeah, which is what the laws are supposed to do as well. And it's not. They're going around that law and bending it and twisting it with whatever sick way they can.
And another thing is this, okay? Another thing is this. And I started talking about this last week. I believe that we should stop supporting the city of New York in any way that we can. Almost have like an embargo against the city of New York, And what I mean by that is Newsmax is really doing great stuff right now. They need to move out of New York and protest and move to their Palm Beach studios. I know it's inconvenient because a lot of their people are in New York.
Well, yeah, that's a huge expense.
Even if they got to move over to New Jersey. Anyone who's planning on taking a vacation to New York or visiting family from New York, don't go.
It's full of rats anyway. I read an article. There's 2 million rats.
Republicans against Trump.
Well, and real rats. There's 2 million rats. It's the most they've ever had in the city. And I watch a lot of these like walkthroughs of cities and towns and stuff. And every time I watch one from New York, the person streaming or videotaping it will shine a light at night, and there's huge. They're like, look at these rats; they're huge.
It's terrible,
and they're breeding so fast. 2 million now live on Manhattan. Can you imagine? There's 8 million people there, so there's
and that's probably
they're catching up.
A conservative estimate.
So don't go there. You don't want to eat in restaurants where there's rats everywhere. That's gross.
And I'd like to see a complete boycott of the city of New York. I would like to see our freedom truckers. I'd like to see them no longer take loads into New York City. I think what New York
there needs to be something.
What New York City is doing right now is corrupt beyond imagination. Yeah. This country, they are putting this country through something we've never been through before. And I think a complete 100% boycott of New York. New Yorkers here in Florida, we got a lot of New Yorkers in Florida. And New Yorkers are a little, I'm sorry guys, they're a little full of themselves, What I hate hearing more than anything when we have New Yorkers in Florida, no matter where you are, and what they're doing, it's always better. And you could be at a restaurant for breakfast, and New Yorkers will be in there, and they'll have a glass of Florida orange juice, and they'll say, the orange juice is better in New York.
It's true.
They tell you everything's better in New York, but they're here in Florida.
Yeah, and they're really loud when they say it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody hears them.
Yeah, I know. They have a stick.
That's okay.
They have a stick of bubble gum. Oh, that gum's better in New York. I got to tell you. Yeah. Okay. All right.
There's a lot of New Yorkers here.
But I would like to see a complete boycott of the city of. I'm not talking about the state. The city of New York.
Yeah.
And that would be a powerful statement. And as arrogant as the city of New York is, they think they're the center, the hub of the world, and everything else, and all this stuff. They need us, and if we stop supporting them just on tourism alone, it would send a message to the city. Now, I want to thank you all in this listening audience who follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. This week, I just passed, in fact, just yesterday, I just hit 60,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And that's amazing.
It is amazing.
And I want to thank all of you who subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed, go check it out. You'll love it. I put up a lot of content. I do upload the podcast to the YouTube channel, but that's only a small part of it.
Yeah.
I live stream when I'm on the radio in the mornings for 3 hours every morning from 6 till 9 a.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel. And I take live calls on that show, on that live stream from the radio listeners as well as people watching on YouTube and other platforms. I vlog on that channel a lot. I was just at Mar-a-Lago and had the president on my vlog a couple days ago when he was flying off to New York from Palm Beach. And I went to the airport and saw Trump Force One take off, and I made a great vlog on that. I do live streams on the weekends and have conversations with those who subscribe to my YouTube channel. So thank you, everyone, for your support. Welcome to all the new subscribers. And my YouTube channel, it's Brian Craig Show. Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And hitting that 60,000 subscriber mark and surpassing it this week was amazing. When I first started live streaming on YouTube, I remember the first day I live streamed on YouTube, I had 238 subs. And I had a YouTube channel for a while, and I didn't do anything with it. And I live streamed on other platforms. Remember, I used to live stream on Periscope, which doesn't exist anymore. And I left Periscope before it was disappeared, and because Periscope was just filled with classless, crazy things. It was,
my gosh,
it was not. I
can't even tell you.
I called it the dark web, Periscope, and it
was pretty gross.
So I left it before it was gone, taken down by Twitter.
Yeah.
But I left that and started live streaming on YouTube, and I had a large following on Periscope. I was one of the first people on Periscope. I was on Periscope within 2 or 3 days of the app launching before anybody knew about it. And I had a massive following on Periscope, but it was so scummy. The people, it was totally crazy. I got out of there and I went to YouTube with just 238 subscribers. And now over 60,000 on my YouTube channel. So thanks everyone for your support. And if you don't now, go and check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. We'll be right back.
Do you have an idea that you want to share with the world? DoYouMogul.com is here to help. In these challenging times, many people just like you are taking the leap to start their own business. DoYouMogul.com understands the struggles of getting your business noticed, which is why they've created an online community to help you promote your services and network with other business owners to grow your business. With daily blogs, business boost, and a large community, you can expand your reach. Join DoYouMogul.com today and start making your dreams a reality. Robert Allen Miltenberg invites you to time travel with him to the Roman future. His new novella, available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. It's the golden age of Rome, a time of peace and prosperity. And Scadius Commodius Lavatorius is its greatest scientist. But for all he's achieved, one question haunts him. Will Rome survive the test of time? There's only one way to find out. Come along on this cosmic romp of an adventure. See if you can read the signs any better than a brilliant scientist can. Prediction, science fiction, allegory, allegory? National glory? This is a satire at its most gladiatorial. Center stage in the Circus Maximus of your mind. A story of time machines and timeless politics, strange Roman cuisine and gambling parlor tricks, spinning gold and crossing the river Styx. That's the Roman Future. Available on Kindle and paperback. Go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble now and visit The Roman Future by Robert Allen Miltenberg today. Are you struggling to connect with your teen? Are you worried about the troubles your teen is facing in today's world? Don't miss out on the ultimate guide to faith-led parenting with the book from Script Seeds, Parenting Teens Through Faith, available on Amazon. Parenting Teens Through Faith is your essential handbook to raising confident, resilient, and empowered teenagers. This book provides practical advice for providing a strong, faith-based foundation for building character, virtues, and resilience in your teen. You'll also discover essential biblical principles for providing hope and confidence, no matter your faith background. Start building a stronger, more resilient family with Parenting Teens Through Faith, available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions on Amazon. This book is perfect for church groups. Order your copy right now. Attention all crypto investors and NFT collectors. Help make a positive impact on our environment with the Save Your Rhinos NFT collection. Brought to you by New Verse Center. New Verse Center is an established environmental company using Web3 technology. They're focused on contributing to environmentally friendly and humanitarian-focused projects. They are working to provide support to stop the poaching and habitat destruction of rhinos. The Save Your Rhinos NFT collection is your key to enter the New Verse ecosystem and enjoy the benefits they provide for creators in the arts, business, and technology fields, all while doing their part to creating a healthy environment. Don't miss your chance. Grab a Save Your Rhinos NFT and visit newversecenter.com to learn more. newversecenter.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I just want to change gears for a few minutes to talk about this thing going on with Budweiser, because it's crazy, where they hired this transgendered person. What's their name?
Dylan. It is Dylan Mulvaney. And then after that, there's an article about Don Lemon.
Okay, Don Lemon. We'll get to. But
Don Lemon.
This thing that's going on with
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah, with Budweiser.
Trans something.
We got a little background now on how this happened. They hired this transgender person to be the spokesperson for Budweiser and even put their picture on the cans. And I'm gonna read through this article. But the thing about Budweiser, beer in general is a man's drink, although there's all these craft beers that all the millennials drink.
Budweiser is like a middle-aged man. That's their demographic.
Budweiser, Michelob, and Coors are a man's drink.
It's like your dad's beer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
and
a young person. It's more like an older person type.
I really like beer. I usually drink Bud Light. The beers I drink
not anymore
are Bud Light, which I will not be drinking now. Bud Light, Miller Lite,
you like Guinness,
and Coors Light. Guinness, I like Guinness, but Guinness is heavy. Yeah. Having a pint of Guinness is like eating a hamburger or a steak.
Oh.
It's very heavy. I love Guinness, and I do drink it. But like if on a hot Florida day, it's usually Bud Light, Coors Light, or Mick Ultra, or Miller Lite. If I go to a bar, it's either Bud Light or Miller Lite.
Why is it light? Is it less calories? I don't drink beer. I think it's gross.
I don't.
But why do they call it as opposed to regular Budweiser?
I guess it has less calories, but Budweiser is an old American beer company. Yeah. It's and everything else, and this marketing decision of hiring this transgender spokesperson is the worst marketing decision a beverage company has ever made since New Coke. And New Coke, a lot of you don't remember New Coke.
I remember New Coke.
New Coke was a disaster.
Yeah, it was.
Coca-Cola.
That was an epic fail.
I like Pepsi and Coke, and I alternate, between Coke and Pepsi. They taste very different.
I like Coke.
But Coca-Cola sales have always outsurpassed Pepsi. Pepsi's not even a player. It's like It's like if you look at the presidential Republican primary polls, Coke is Donald Trump and Pepsi is Nikki Haley.
It's like McDonald's with Burger King. Burger King's
Worse.
always behind but never catches up.
Worse. Pepsi's not even in the same ballpark. No.
I wonder why.
No. I don't know.
It's a little too sweet.
And
I don't like Pepsi.
And it's always been that way. I like them both. And then Coke in the 80s, Coca-Cola decided they were going to change their formula to New Coke. And it didn't last very long, and it was a disaster.
Yeah,
and
it's a big mistake.
You could find a lot of videos on YouTube if you don't remember that era or you've forgotten. I don't forget it. I remember New Coke tasted like
people were well. What happened is they changed the formula of Coke, and this was like in the early '80s or something, and they had a whole huge PR campaign on TV. But what happened is they took away the old Coke. You couldn't get the old Coke anymore,
That's right.
People were pissed because they could
That's
not
right.
get the old Coke. So then there was so much backlash, and this was before social media. They still got a lot of letters that they brought back Coke Classic.
Yeah.
So then you could get New Coke and Coke Classic.
But New Coke's gone.
New Coke is gone. Now it's just Coca-Cola Classic.
You can find a lot of documentaries about it on YouTube, and it was
really crazy.
It's really interesting. And the president or CEO of Coca-Cola, he had a press conference announcing that the regular Coke was coming back, and he even attacked the taste of New Coke, which tasted kind of like medicine.
It was,
and he said the New Coke is so bad, it's almost as bad as Pepsi. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. You'll never hear the head of Coke say Pepsi again.
This is a horrible marketing decision.
So now Budweiser has done the worst beverage marketing decision since New Coke, and there's an article today
agree with that.
Giving us some background on it. And a marketing expert discussed the Bud Light controversial and stupid decision to use a transgender influencer for their latest campaign, which has sparked so much fury that Kid Rock took out several cases of Budweiser with an automatic gun.
While wearing a MAGA hat. I love it.
Yeah. The pro-Trump singer wearing a MAGA hat said he wanted to send a clear and concise message after discovering trans content creator Dylan Mulvaney was working with the beer company. Mulvaney, age 26, who's a complete freak.
Oh, it's like a grown man dressing up like a little girl.
Yeah.
It's a really, really weird person.
Mulvaney announced the partnership in a series of videos posted to social media over the weekend. And, those videos showed up in my feed, and I didn't watch them. I just scrolled past them. I don't know why they were in my feed because I certainly don't follow this person on Twitter. And I thought they were just doing some stupid, TikTok
Maybe
stunt.
because you talked about it
and
with your phone around.
I don't know. I thought they were just doing some TikTok stunt with beer.
Yeah, no.
And I didn't realize that what was going on here. This is Mulvaney, was even given a beer can with her face printed on it to celebrate her 365 days of being a woman. But a PR expert has now come out and said that the decision by Bud Light and their parent company, Anheuser-Busch, to link up with Mulvaney was a mistake. Gareth Boyd, marketing and PR director at Forte Analytica, says that while he can understand where the decision came from, it's not the right way to go about it. He said, I can't understand their approach because their core audience just cannot relate. Cutting your core audience in the hope that you can draw a completely new audience in who haven't been exposed before does not make sense. Most U.S. families are exposed to their father drinking the beer or other family members, but it's never been seen as a cool beer, Budweiser. I disagree with that. Budweiser has been seen as a cool beer that men drink. In terms of what they did this year was good with the Super Bowl, but now they've come off the back of something really good and lit it on fire. Kid Rock is the poster boy for Bud Light, and for someone like him to come out and shoot cans tells you a lot about the reaction from their core base customer. People pouring beer down their sink, which is a TikTok trend that's going on, has been going on with this. And those cans might end up being collector's items. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch did not respond to a request for comment. Thousands have commented on Kid Rock's posting of the image, saying all kinds of things with the F word. You see, this is what happened, okay? The person in charge of this at Anheuser-Busch is a female.
Yep.
And what's
head of their marketing.
Yeah, the head of the marketing is a woman. And what's happened since this Harvey Weinstein thing is women and minorities are overrepresented in every aspect of corporate life and Hollywood and everything else. And what I mean by overrepresented, whatever percentage women and minorities are of the population and of the workforce, they're being overly hired in positions, and they're feminizing a lot of things that shouldn't be feminized.
They're driving this woke agenda. These companies have actively placed women and minorities in positions that were held normally by men, particularly white men, because they felt that they were underrepresented. So now they are the ones driving this woke agenda in these corporations.
So this thing with this woman handling Budweiser, okay? Having a woman in charge of marketing for Budweiser would be like having a man be the marketing executive for tampons at Tampax. It'd be a disaster.
Well, it is a disaster.
And what this woman did, she got it in her head that there's this whole demographic of people we're not reaching, the trans. Mm-hmm. That's the new thing now.
Well, and she wanted to look like a big hero, but I'm making a prediction.
Virtue signaling.
Yeah, since you mentioned Tampax, I'm making a prediction. If it hasn't happened already, I am predicting that Tampax is going to do something honoring transgendered women.
It's crazy.
There are literally transgendered women, meaning biological males, that are on TikTok talking about getting their periods. I'm not joking. They're totally deluded. I could see Tampax, maybe they've done it already, honoring transgendered women like this Dylan guy. Can you imagine? Yeah. They don't even have ovaries. And they have penises, for God's sake.
And when I talk about overrepresentation,
what is wrong with these people?
About overrepresentation, let me be specific, because I want to talk about minority overrepresentation.
Yeah.
You watch television commercials or you see video commercials on social media and online, there's not a white person in it.
No, that's true.
Unless it's a commercial for an alarm company and the guy breaking into the house is a white guy. That's it. That's it. And
it's true.
And a lot of times, not only are there no white people in it, like if it's a commercial for a restaurant and the family goes out, there's a white woman and a Hispanic woman, they're lesbians and they've got their kids. Right? And there's no guy in it. And I'm not saying that gay people and trans people shouldn't be in advertising. I'm not saying that Hispanic and black people shouldn't be in commercials. Don't misunderstand me. But not every commercial.
Well, they're doing this with this Dylan person.
Virtue signaling.
Because the company and the woman running it, they want to look like a hero to their friends and their inner circle, and it makes them feel good to lift up somebody they feel needs to be lifted up. And they can tell everybody how woke they are and how they're so enlightened. But it's just just from a marketing point of view, it's just a stupid move, and it's backfiring tremendously.
The reason is
tremendously online.
The big marketing PR firms are in liberal New York City, and so
they're out of touch.
Exactly, they're out of touch with the pulse of the American people.
I think a lot of it too, and I've heard a lot of liberals, like celebrities, and they'll say they don't want MAGA buying their products or buying their records or going to their movies. So I think a lot of these people that run these companies, they want to change the demographic. They don't want 50-year-old men buying their beer. They want transgendered, woke, Generation Z millennials buying their beer now. So they're trying to make a move to change the demographic and make the beer appeal. And it might work because as many people
there aren't enough of them.
As many people that don't, you'd be surprised. No, but people that support him. As many people that dump Bud Light and support Kid Rock, there's just as many people that are in their 20s that'll say Kid Rock's a bigot and I'm going to start buying Bud Light. I think they're trying to make a shift to a new demographic because I don't think they want to sell their product to white conservatives. They don't want them. They don't want. I'm telling you, that's how these people think. We don't want them buying our product. Let's make it appeal, and that's a bold move to do that, and it might work.
That's a typical liberal viewpoint.
Yeah,
and
I'm serious.
With this thing with Mulvaney, it's gotten a lot of negative feedback, so this might not happen now.
I don't think they care.
But I was expecting Wheaties to get together with Caitlyn Jenner and do an update.
Oh my gosh, that would be crazy.
And have on the Wheaties box on the left Bruce Jenner from the 1976 Olympics, and then on the right have Caitlyn Jenner.
See that happen. And I would buy those Wheaties. I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Would that surprise you?
With Bruce Jenner, I mean,
and Caitlyn Jenner on the box?
I remember Bruce Jenner on the box.
Is that what you want to look at while you're eating?
No, I'm just kidding. But I remember Bruce Jenner on the box of that was a big deal.
Yeah.
In 1976 on the box of the Wheaties, and that really started a whole trend of having athletes Wheaties are gross anyway, on the box. But if you had Caitlyn with his holding up his decathlon medal, and then now in the high heel, I don't know.
An update of the same picture in high heels.
I wonder if Caitlyn would.
Evening dress?
Caitlyn's been tweeting in support of Trump all week. She's been saying how he's a hero and saying very nice things. Well, pictures of them together. Yeah,
I've mentioned this a few times. I met Bruce Jenner once before all this stuff happened. It was during the OJ trial.
Yeah. When he was married to Chris.
Yeah, and he nobody even knew who Kim Kardashian was yet, and he was friends with Nicole and OJ and everything. Oh, yeah. And we had him on the radio in studio talking about the O.J. Simpson murders, Bruce Jenner. It was amazing. And I talked to him about an hour before, for an hour before the show, off the air. And I was talking to him about everything. And we didn't know about all this Caitlyn stuff then.
No, nobody did.
And I was talking. He was
probably wearing ladies' underwear.
Yeah, and he was wearing a suit and tie and panties. Probably, you're right. And he's a big guy. He's a
he's an
guy.
Olympian.
And
you said he was really nice.
He's very cool, and we had him on the air taking calls from people that were defending OJ. And he's like, "Oh, I know Juice. He did it. Okay, I'm friends with him. He did it. It was. I wish I had that on tape.
Yeah,
but it happened spontaneously. He was. We were doing the show. Steve and I were on a radio station in Miami, and we were in a facility that had 10 radio stations, and he was in town promoting something and was on some FM morning shows.
Yeah.
And
you met a lot of people that way.
Yeah, and cool. He was waiting to do this FM morning show, and he had us on. And he was listening to me and Steve, and we were talking about OJ because the trial was going on. And he came up to me and he says, "Hey, could I go on the air and talk about it?"
Oh my gosh, of course.
I said, "You're Bruce Jenner. You can go on the air anytime you want, man. Of course." And he went off on these callers. It was
that must
glorious.
have been epic.
But I talked to him about an hour before, and I was talking to him because when I was this sounds crazy to a lot of people. You know, he was on Chips. Larry Wilcox left Chips for a while.
Yeah, he was good on Chips.
And Bruce Jenner was on Chips and the Wheaties box.
Yeah, he was a good actor.
I told him, now I didn't know about all this Caitlyn stuff. And I told him that. I said, when I was a kid growing up, you were what a man is supposed to grow up to be.
I'm sure he really appreciated that.
I told him this. I said, I said the decathlon.
That's
and
crazy.
You're on Chips and everything. I said, you're like the coolest man that ever lived.
A manly man.
And little did I know at the time that he was wearing panties.
He said that was all done. I watched an interview with him on purpose to cover up. He was overly manly, he said, because he wanted to cover up the secret.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah. But anyway.
He loves Trump, so I like Bruce / Caitlyn.
I will say, Caitlyn Jenner's on Fox sometimes.
Yeah, he's good.
And I don't think I've ever heard Caitlyn Jenner say something involving Trump or politics that I would disagree with.
No. And he's on the side of the female athletes.
Yeah.
They have him on a lot about that.
It's hard for me to be critical of Bruce Jenner.
Now, I told you I'm waiting for them to have him on outnumbered to see where he is.
But he can't be the one lucky guy.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's a woman now, so he'd be on the side.
That'd be hilarious.
And then you'd have a man. I mean,
Bruce Jenner
you got to laugh at that a little bit.
I'd watch that. Listen, we're going to take a quick break and come right back.
Do you need stamps or shipping supplies? Look no further than Postal 23, an online store for all your postal needs. Right now, Postal 23 is having a 25% spring sale off everything store-wide. But that's not all. Postal 23 sells exclusive and unique items like the 2022 Forever stamps, the U.S. flag USPS first-class postage stamps coin roll, and the stamp roll dispenser. And for the little ones, check out the Postal Delivery pullback truck with a roll of 100 Forever stamps. This is a 1/34th scale replica that has doors that open, and it's made by Kintoy. But hurry, this authentic Postal Delivery pullback toy is only available while supplies last. Don't miss out on these unique items and the spring sale at Postal 23. Visit them online right now at postalannex23.com. That's the number 23. postalannex23.com. Start shopping right now. Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Say goodbye to living paycheck to paycheck and hello to financial freedom with Date Your Money from author Larry Thomas. This short ebook about money management is perfect for beginners of all ages. Date Your Money helps you tap into emotions you already have to create a positive relationship with your finances. By discovering the well-defined reasons behind wanting a better financial future, you'll learn how to budget effectively and become debt-free. With Date Your Money, you'll gain the tools and knowledge to make sound financial decisions and achieve your goals. So what are you waiting for? Get your copy of Date Your Money from author Larry Thomas on Apple Books, Kobo, or Smashwords and start taking control of your finances. You deserve to live a stress-free life, and Date Your Money can help make that a reality. Are you tired of feeling stuck in a cycle of complaints and negativity? Do you want to cultivate a more positive and fulfilling life for yourself and those around you? Look no further than the book Living Without Complaint from author Emmy Kazanovic. In this powerful and practical guide, you'll discover how complaining impacts mental health, relationships, and productivity. You'll learn practical strategies for living without complaints, including mindfulness, practices, gratitude exercises, positive self-talk, setting realistic expectations, and adopting a growth mindset. It's a must-read for anyone looking to bring more positivity into their life and a great eye-opener for chronic complainers. Living Without Complaint gives you the tools you need to overcome obstacles and maintain a complaint-free lifestyle. If you're ready to experience the wonders of a complaint-free life, don't miss out on the opportunity to read Living Without Complaint from author Emmy Kazanovic. Embrace your positivity and gratitude. Order your copy of Living Without Complaint on Amazon right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Elon Musk did something amazing on Twitter, okay? He took away the blue check marks, for all the celebrities. We're talking about that. He did something, though, for NPR, Elon Musk. NPR, Twitter put permanently on their profile a disclaimer on NPR's Twitter account. U.S. state-affiliated media.
I saw that.
And let me tell you.
That's crazy.
I know you'll say all the media is state-affiliated. NPR gets so much money from the U.S. government that they should not get. And if you ever listen to NPR, what you hear on CNN and MSNBC with Rachel Maddow is conservative MAGA in comparison to what's on public radio. Public radio is like if the Soviet Union were at its peak of power and they had an English language radio station in the United States, it'd be National Public Radio. So I think that's pretty awesome. You were telling me last time you had an article about Don Lemon.
Well, there's an article on the Daily Mail I put in your Facebook group that he's about to get fired. And there's a long history of him. He really has issues with women. He's one of these women-hating gays.
Yeah.
And of harassing and threatening women, including Nancy Grace. Remember, she used to be on CNN, and he sent anonymous text messages to one of his co-hosts. You cross the line, you're going to pay for it. This was somebody named Phillips that he worked with. And then they didn't put him with any more female co-hosts for a while because he couldn't get along with any of them. He denies this, of course. Then they said he dated a junior employee who was 22 years old, which is highly frowned upon. They would drive together in his car, engaged in a long-term relationship. It says here, one senior executive said, as fast as you can make a rule, Don would bend it. He's accused of calling one of his producers fat to her face before mocking Nancy Grace live on air by mimicking her. Grace refused to comment on the incident, but sources told Variety that she thinks he's an a-hole and was always...
Who said that?
Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace is right, yeah.
It says here, a source who witnessed the incident of him being rude, that was the beginning of when you knew that Don was kind of volatile. It didn't say good things about women. Yeah, he doesn't like women, apparently. Gee, what a shocker. He's denying it, of course. This is all in Variety. This was reported recently. He's accused of being upset that Soledad O'Brien hosted CNN's high-profile Black in America, and he wasn't picked. During a call attended by staffers, he claimed that O'Brien
that goes
wasn't
way back.
Black. Yeah, 2008. He said she wasn't Black. Don always wanted to be front and center on anything high profile, slow anything involving race.
Slow down. Soledad O'Brien is biracial, and one of her parents is black. So Don Lemon thinks that she should not present herself as black. She should pass as something else.
She's not really black.
Not black enough. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Other colleagues claim that Lemon exhibited diva-like behavior and skipped editorial calls and showed up late. In 2009, Lemon complained that he got less airtime than Anderson Cooper, who was at the Michael Jackson Memorial, blah, blah, blah. He seems like a real pain in the neck, like a real jerk. Yeah. The senior executive told Variety that led to a come-to-Jesus moment. Don was told, look, you've got to address your behavior. Your performance as a reporter is great. It's your behavior that's got to improve, or it's going to derail you in the future. And apparently, it hasn't changed. He's, whatever. He's his own worst enemy. He can't control himself. He clearly hates women, or maybe he just secretly wants to be one. But he clearly has issues with women and has a long history of abusive behavior towards women. There seems to be, in these network jobs, I know you work in the media, you have a little bit of this you've dealt with in the past when you worked with other people. When you're at a network level of the news, there seems to be so many problems and egos that go on here. There's so much. I wish somebody would write a really, really good tell-all about these, but they all sign these NDAs and stuff.
Megyn Kelly did. They made that movie with Charlize Theron. That was kind of
that was just about Roger Ailes. That was good. I'm talking about the people on TV, the anchors. The reason, I want to hear about that stuff.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because there was something I want to mention that's very important.
Yeah.
Rachel Maddow. And
she's another beauty.
Yeah, and well, I don't know, beauty.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Trump says, another beauty.
Yeah, a beaut.
Yeah, a beaut.
Yeah. MSNBC refused to air Trump's speech at Mar-a-Lago last night. They said it was filled with misinformation.
Oh God!
And they are a credible news organization whose reputation could be damaged by allowing false information to be broadcast. She's the one that gave us the Russia hoax for years, right?
Yeah, exactly. She's so credible.
NBC in particular, okay, which is an umbrella, right? They got the network news, they got their network, they've got sports, they've got MSNBC and all kinds of things, right? They're spending all this time attacking Trump with these two women, Stormy Daniels and the Playboy girl. Now, both of these women have accused Donald Trump of consensual sex. I don't believe the women. I'm with Trump, of course, but he's being accused of consensual sex, which is it's amazing that consensual. That's how far the world's gone. Consensual sex is now a crime, right?
Yeah,
if it's hetero, I guess. NBC covered up Matt Lauer's behavior towards women for years. Remember the stories of Matt Lauer? He had a button on his desk where he could lock the door when someone came in.
And he did it. He would lock women in there.
There was one woman, something happened, and she had to be taken to the hospital from his office. Remember all of that? And those offices, that building is an old building.
They covered up for him for years. That everybody knew.
The building that the Today Show was in and NBC is in is a very old building. So those old buildings in New York, they're not that big. Everybody knows what's going on in those offices.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Everybody's on top of each other.
So everyone at NBC, no matter what it is, MSNBC, everything else, knew all about Matt Lauer, said nothing, did nothing, and covered up.
Probably the other networks knew, too.
They all knew.
People at CBS and ABC, they probably all knew.
That's right. And here they are talking about Trump being accused of having consensual sex with two women, which is not even true, but he's being accused of he had consensual sex with me. Stormy Daniels put something on Twitter so vile about President Trump. I could read it because it's the internet. I'm not even going to read it. Mm-mm.
Well, she said something that to me made it look like she was totally lying, which I know she is, that he was in his underwear impersonating Burt Reynolds. I mean, that's something she's when somebody's lying when they start adding to their original story because they want to get on TV and say something new. And when they add, and it's so outlandish, they're doing it to get written about. Oh, I'll say something else, and they'll write about me in the Daily Mail, and I'll sell more porno movies or whatever the hell she's.
They run out of things to say.
They run out of things to say, so they start making things up And I'm like, really, Burt Reynolds? I mean, I can't. Come on.
That's
I
so
can't see
bizarre.
that. It's such a weird. Yeah, I can't see
Well,
Trump doing that at all.
what she said.
What'd she say? Can you give me a hint? Kind of.
Let me see if I got the article. I think I might have tweeted it.
Well, she's a vile person.
Okay. Let me pull up the tweet. There's an article.
She's a porn star. What do you expect?
There's an article about it that I tweeted. The
Yeah.
headline is "Classless Stormy Daniels makes vile statement in response to Trump arraignment." So
She's going to end up doing more damage than she already has because she can't keep her mouth shut. They can't control her.
yeah, and in this article they have a picture of her in lingerie. She is incredibly unattractive.
I think. Well, he calls her horse face. I mean,
And
she's
I'm
very ugly.
looking at her body here, and she has a tattoo, very large tattoo, in a strange place,
Her breast implants are like bowling balls,
and it
They're
looks like
huge.
a bruise on her leg. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, she's not pretty. She looks like she's damaged goods.
I'm not going to use the one term she used.
Okay, well, use your own language, so but so
She-
we know what it kind of was.
She used a 2-word thing. She used the slang term for. I'm not going to read it. I'm not. You guys can read the article. It's on my Twitter.
Send me the article, and then maybe I could. come up with,
No, we're not even going to
Why
use
can't
other
you
words.
say it?
It's too vile. But if you go to my Twitter, Brian
I'm
Craig Show on
curious
Twitter,
now.
you can read the article that has the whole thing. It's on my Twitter, and it's an article about Stormy Daniels, and you can read it yourself. I'm not going to read it, and please don't read it, Kathy. It's
Okay,
not.
I'm going to read it to myself.
Yeah, don't read it on the.
This was in the Gateway Pundit.
Yeah, don't read it to in any
Oh,
way.
yeah.
But it's important for you to read the article.
Oh, I've read this tweet. Yes.
Yeah, it's important for you to read this article and read the tweet so you can see who they're taking as a credible
Yeah, she's
person.
gross. Yeah, I saw that. And I saw that tweet the other day, and I couldn't believe my eyes.
her tweet is just insane. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. You know, if you would like to support the program, of course, there's many ways to do that, but a great way is to become a patron of the program on Patreon. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you get commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. Okay, so the names you're going to hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Arctic Fox, Cindy, and our newest top Patreon supporter, K-Mac. Welcome and thank you all to our top Patreon supporters there. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the episode description, and there's also a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. And the website address is patreon.com/realbriancraigshow. Patreon.com/realbriancraigshow. All right, well, that's it for us today. Now, we are going to have complete and very detailed, intense coverage of everything that goes on with Donald Trump from this point forward. We are in all new territory here in this country. It's very scary, disgusting times, and there's new developments almost every hour of every day, like what we started the show with, these new developments about the political donations of this crooked judge. I mean, that's even without the stuff with the daughter, that's enough for him to be out of the case.
I would think so.
But it's not even being discussed. Trump's being attacked for pointing these things out about the
Which
bias
he
of
has
the
a
judge.
right to do. I mean, he has a right, and I love how
he should do it. No one else is.
How Nancy Pelosi said he has to prove his innocence.
Yeah, really.
No, that's not how it works here. You have the prosecutor has to prove you're guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. She's got it backwards. I mean, she just needs to shut up. She's just a stupid old woman.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to prove anything. The burden of proof is on Bragg, not on Trump. Trump's going to defend himself, but in this country, you don't have to prove you're innocent.
Mm-hmm.
You are presumed innocent until you're proven otherwise. But the media and everybody, of course, I mean, when you read the comments on Twitter, Kinzinger's the worst. He is obsessed with Trump. He is a sad little man. He is absolutely, him and George Conway, the two of them are just, you know, they just probably, I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking right now, but he's a pathetic person. But when you read the comments by the liberals on Twitter, I mean, they just feel this is completely justified. They feel that Trump should be thrown in jail for the rest of his life. He's a menace. He's dangerous. And then they just keep saying we're in a cult. He's a cult leader. We're cult followers. That's how they really see us, that we're in a cult and that we need to be deprogrammed.
Yep, that's right. Well, listen, we are all out of time, but we will talk to you next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Are you a truck or car enthusiast looking to upgrade your ride? Look no further than GroundZeroCustoms.com. GroundZeroCustoms.com is an online store specializing in aftermarket performance and appearance upgrades. They have a vast inventory of high-quality parts and accessories, and they have everything you need to take your vehicle to the next level. GroundZeroCustoms.com offer the best brands in the business, including Baja Designs, Mickey Thompson Tires, 4Play, and that's just the beginning. Whether you're looking for lighting upgrades or suspension modifications, they have you covered. Plus, GroundZeroCustoms.com understand that each vehicle is unique, which is why they offer a wide range of specialized parts and accessories. Upgrade your ride and make it truly your own. Go to GroundZeroCustoms.com and discover the possibilities. You will find an unbeatable selection and everything you need to take your vehicle to the next level. Start shopping right now at GroundZeroCustoms.com. Did you know that every year, 975 innocent people are being locked up? DeAndre Daniels is one of them. He was sentenced to 47 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. This could happen to your loved one, your son, brother, uncle, father, or husband. You can help by bringing awareness to this injustice and help DeAndre get a new and fair trial. Sign the petition at change.org under DeAndre D. Daniels. To learn more, visit asateamwematter.life. Don't let another innocent person suffer. Sign the petition and help bring justice for DeAndre and others like him. Find the petition at change.org under DeAndre D. Daniels.